Hi, and welcome to How to Love Living. My name is Jeremy, and I'm here in Seattle, and this is a podcast just about living life and loving it. And this week's episode is going to be a little bit more of a heavier episode. It's one that I've been wanting to do just in recognition of the challenges that are going on in the world. And specifically, I want to talk about coping, with these challenges, especially where, we're all going through this worldwide all these challenges. So this goes from the pandemic to things going on in Ukraine to the things just going on in our interpersonal lives and our personal lives, and navigating these things in a way that can be helpful, that can help you, and just help you navigate it. And these things, I think, are important. I think it's important to acknowledge these things and to talk about them a bit, and then figure out how to move through it. And the first thing I would say is, to the people that are suffering in the world, I send nothing but just pure love. And I think that there's more we can do, and I think that the first step is to send that love and caring for those that are suffering, and especially those that are suffering by the hands of other people. So these things can be very distressful when you hear about just the challenges that people are going through and the world's going through. And I think that, how do you cope with that? How do you cope with navigating emotionally through these challenges? And I think there are ways that you can navigate through it and take some ownership of it and empowerment of it, but within the spectrum of your control. And so here's kind of my perspective on it is, one, when you're thinking about these things, focus less on just the overarching bad things. Focus less on that and focus more on the people, and focus more on, what we individually can do for the people. Because it's really easy to start generalizing and to start labeling. And I think that's bad. I think it's bad from the perspective that the generalizations and labels are probably already there. And it's difficult because in the end, what we want to focus on is we want to focus on those that are suffering and getting them help and, working through that. I think that the way that you do this, so let's say, like one thing I do sometimes is I get through doing something called doom scrolling, where I'm just reading about all the horrific things that are going on in the world. And, I just one article after another, and then one YouTube video after another. And in the end, the things I can do that are my spectrum of control that will help me in feeling better about the situation is donations. So usually I'm putting positive comments out there. So like in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, I'm putting positive comments on Ukrainian citizens' blogs. I'm putting positive comments on Russian citizens' blogs that are, stating that they don't support things, that they don't understand it, and that sort of stuff. You got to understand that, in all these things, usually the people, the citizens, the people that are just bystanders in these overarching conflicts are innocence on both sides. And I think that's where I like to focus on the people versus the overarching, you know, enemies. Because I gotta say that that's where our overarching government would want to step in and do something. And this is with any of it. And we can't, as an individual, be responsible for that. You can write your senator, you can make donations, you can put support and love out into the world. And I think that's about it. And I think that in our society, especially with, you know, the news cycle, they want to keep the drama going. And, you know, and of course, there's a lot of horrible things happening in the world. But to maintain your mental health and to maintain your sanity, I think that you do what you can and then you have to let it go. And I hate to say that. I hate to say that, you know, but for your sanity, you can only do so much, and you can only give so much, and you can only be there so much. But what you can do is you can be there and you can give what you can. And but then at some point when you get to the more overarching devastation that's occurring, you can't take that on. Like yesterday, I made a donation to the Red Cross, and you know, I love the idea that the Red Cross is creating these humanitarian pathways out of Ukraine to help the people get out of the line of fire. And, you know, the Red Cross is helping people across the world. And of course, we have these horrible things happening all over the world, perpetrated by a bunch of different people. I'm hoping that with technology, here's my hope, and this is actually one of the things that, you know, I have hope in, is as we move forward as a society, our technology, yes, it's not, you know, there's negative parts of it, but the positive part that I've seen so far is it's making the world smaller. So when you see someone from Ukraine, or you see someone from Africa, or you see someone from different countries, a lot of times they're not as different from us as we would think. And I think that's good. I think that's good when you can see someone and not have that differentiation, because then on a human level, you connect with that person and you see the things they're going through. And if enough people connect with enough people, it will be a better world for everyone, because tolerance will wane and we'll see the collective humanity that is out there, and the love that we need to share for our neighbors, and the love we need to have for ourselves. And, you know, I think love conquers all. I think that putting that love and putting that recognition of humanity out there, I'd say that even within conflicts that are going on in our world, even in the United States, I think putting that love and trying to understand and trying to sit down with someone who is in opposition of you and seeing their humanity is important. I think that dehumanizing people is dangerous. There's only one person I feel strongly about right now, but he's the perpetrator of things going on in Ukraine. Outside of that, you know, I think that even the Russian soldiers that are perpetrating this, you know, there's innocence there. And, you know, it's tough. The war is tough, and these things are tough. And, you know, in the end, we can't demonize people. We gotta see their humanity. We gotta recognize that these are individuals that have families, that love, that have passions, that, you know, have all these things. And so, you know, if we can get away from making others out to be so horrible, it makes it a better world where we can put this love out into the world and put good efforts. And, you know, for me, I donate money and I try to help others in very small ways, just to, you know that I'm putting that love out there. I'm putting comments out into the world, and I'm just putting the things out there that will, you know, just put that love. And, you know, the other thing I'll say is sometimes we can get caught up in all the craziness of the world and realize that this stuff will pass. This too shall pass. We won't be in this forever. That there will be a time when this is going to pass on. That we don't need to get caught up in every moment, but rather just understand and appreciate the complexity of our species, understand that there's going to be struggle and there's going to be pain, that we can put that love out there and that we can do the things we can do, and then we have to let it go. And I think that then it's taking the energy and reforming it, transmogging it into something, or, just creating and taking that energy and putting it into things that will put good into the world. So I think that, it's getting back to redirecting your sorrow and pain into a cause for change. Live your life in harmony to your true path. Find the answers in your path, and find your path through dusting yourself off every day, getting up and keep moving forward and keep putting that love out there and looking for that path that you should be on. Our life path isn't like the yellow brick road. It's just not going to show up. We're not going to have this adversity, and the yellow brick road is going to show up and it's going to give us the path to the Emerald City. What's going to happen is our paths sometimes will be interweaving. Sometimes you'll go down a road and you don't feel good about it, and you'll go back and go down another road, and then you'll ask yourself, does this road feel good? And sometimes it's listening and not trying to control, just listening and accepting the messages of joy that you find. Look for those roads that make you happy. And so for me, some of those roads are creating this podcast. Some of those roads are, putting those comments out of peace and love and happiness to people that are going through hard times, and, being there for my fellow human beings, and really trying to pick a path that feels authentic to me. And when I feel really angry, which I do sometimes, and I get pretty dark about my anger, in specifically some of these conflicts and the leaders that are perpetuating these conflicts, and I have to put that aside, and I have to get more into my micro universe and let the macro go, and really focus in on being in sync in my life and doing good things, getting out into nature, loving my fellow human beings. It's just, that's what I've been doing. I've been putting a lot of focus into the things that are in my spectrum of control, and acknowledging the horrible things that are happening in the world. But then, I think it goes back to the whole bit in London, where back in World War One, I think it was, or World War Two, where they had the signage for, the people, which was keep calm and carry on. And basically what it is in that situation, the neighborhoods in London were being bombed randomly. And psychologically, each person didn't know if they're going to be bombed that day or not. And, that's what we have to do. So the government created those signs, keep calm and carry on, to give people the peace, or hopefully to focus on the peace of keeping moving along regardless of the adversity that was there. And I think we, if anything, we can use these adverse times to strengthen ourselves and to say, I'm going to grow resilience and I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to be good to my fellow human beings. I'm going to find my path. I'm going to put good things out into the world, and I'm not going to get caught up in the drama of the moment. I'm going to be a bigger person. I'm going to be a better person. And it's easy. It's so easy to get caught up in moment for moment. And I do that sometimes. And so I'm speaking to myself too, is I want to put this love out into the world. I want to see the beauty of people, and I want to see the beauty of the world that we can create. And I recognize the beauty that we have now, and I want to create more of that. I want to create more beauty, and I want the human race to create that beauty, and I want us to keep progressing forward and seeing success so that all the peoples of the world can have that success in the long run. And yes, we're caught in these little moments in time where it's just really crappy, and we've gone through this as a species over and over and over again, and it's horrific, but it's part of our existence at the moment. And if you can find ways to refocus your energies and anxieties on the things that will make you better and make your experience for your fellow human beings better, I think that's energy well spent. But if anything, the one takeaway I would say that there were two takeaways I would say that you can kind of focus on. One, if you're doom scrolling, recognize it and stop. It isn't helping you. It isn't helping the problem. Two, donate. Donate to organizations that are helping, put out good feelings and good thoughts and prayers to the world. Donate money, and then let the rest go and put out that energy. Do the things that you can within your spectrum of control to put goodness out into the world. And when you do have those dark moments of anger and hatred, try to minimize it as much as possible. And I try to do that, and I do have those dark moments, but I try to minimize them as much as possible and put that good energy out into the world. Well, this has been How to Love Living, and thank you for listening. And if you're to ask for my recommendation would be donate to someone like the Red Cross or some of the children charities that are working for Ukraine. There's definitely lists all over the place for where you can put in donations. That's what my recommendation would be. And then focus on you and focus on the world you can create for yourself that will put that goodness into the world for your family, for your loved ones, for everyone that's in the spectrum of your control. Well, I love you all. Peace. And I'll talk to you next time.